Hey everyone, it's Waffle Bro, and today I'm going to show you how to make a custom thumbnail for your YouTube channel for free using the program Paint.net and the VanderModden plugin. Both links are in the description if you want to know how to download them. So first of all, to make your thumbnail, you're going to need to actually open up the software you're using. In my case, this is going to be Paint.net with the VanderModden plugin. Now the first thing you're going to do is hit image, resize, and resize it to the thumbnail size, which is 1280 by 720. By control scroll, you can change the size of what you're currently working with. It doesn't change the size of it, it's just zoom in, zoom out. I find it a little bit helpful to be able to see your whole canvas. Now, first of all, there's going to be a couple steps to making your thumbnail. What I did is I added a new layer by going to this layer menu down here, and then I just deleted the current one to make the background transparent. That is how I always start. Transparent backgrounds are generally what I like to use. Now, there are going to be a couple parts. One is going to be the background, and two is going to be your text, and then maybe any overlay images. So let's start with the background. So let's say I'm making a Minecraft thumbnail. I can start with the background, or if you're doing any gaming thumbnail, just put a screenshot of part of your game. Now I got this screenshot from one of my games. Next, I'm working on making text. So there are plenty of good fonts out there, which I've actually done a video on good fonts for making YouTube videos. But one of my favorites that I forgot to put in that video is actually Plump. Now Plump is a pretty good font. I'm not going to go into depth with it. I'm just going to tell you basically what it is. It's just a font. So I'm going to be using the Plump font for this, and say I'm going to just type in my title. I'm going to click the text tool, select my font up there, my size, just click anywhere in a new layer, be sure to do, and just type my font. Let's just say I want to make this, I'd say I'm going to make it just light blue, probably. I'm also going to want to choose a darker blue if you want to do a gradient later. So now on my new layer, in my color, I'm going to type what I want to type. So we're going to type gameplay MLG Pro, because, you know, we're all about that clickbait life here. Center align and whatever, those don't really matter. Unless, of course, you're doing multiple lines, in which I wouldn't recommend doing them in the same layer. So what I mean by that is I would do a new layer, and then I would type your second line of text. So that way you can format them exactly how you want them to. Now, I'm going to be doing another video on making your text look a lot better than just plain, boring, whatever we got here straight. So if you want to do that, I'll probably have a card pop up. So be sure to tap the eye looking thing in the top right corner if you want to see that. But anyways, back to this. So say that I want to make my text center aligned. I can hit Effects, Object Align, and since this is in a separate layer than my background, I can hit Center Both in Object Align, and it will align to the center. Now, these are on separate layers, so I can do whatever I want to this without having to worry about the bottom layer. For example, if you want to add a border, you can hit Effects, Object, Drop Shadow. Now what you'll be able to do is change color of your drop shadow, add a blur, which I personally don't like the blur. You can add a widening radius, which in this case I'm going to choose just like 10, and you can also add an offset, which, I mean, sure, I'll just put on like 5 and 5. I usually don't use an offset, but sometimes I will. Also shadow opacity if you want. Usually you just leave it as a border, but you can do opacity if you want. Now, something else that you might want to do is add a different shades. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, which I honestly wouldn't if I were you, is you can take this magic wand tool here, hold shift, and click on your text. Now, because you're holding shift, it will select all of that color in this layer. So now in a new layer, take the rectangle tool and select it so that way it's only on fill. Now take a dark color such as black, which you can select here in the color menu, and I would just go like this. Now you're probably like, oh my goodness, this is horrible, it's ugly, I do not like this. Well, right now, in this layer, you can hit this properties thing, which looks like a little tag with a pencil in the layer that you did this, and change the opacity. So I recommend keeping this at around 60. There you go. Look at that. That looks pretty nice. Now you're probably thinking, well, the background is distracting. Now there are a few ways to get around this. One, you can call more attention to your text. So you can give it another drop shadow and say a different color, and it would contrast. So say I were to do this a little bit smaller in white. That would bring more attention to my text. I also can take this little tool and expand my layer size, just like I'm doing right here, and then I can recenter it. I don't recommend this since you lose a little bit of quality, since you started in a lower quality. Also, there's one last thing that I'd recommend doing, and that's going to your background layer, and in effects and blurs, hit average blur, and you can change the blurriness of the background. Now, if I do a blur, I generally keep it around 4 or 5, so in this one, I'll keep it in 5. Now, one last thing that sometimes you might want to do is add a border. Now, you would take your rectangle tool again, and make it so it's just an outline. And then if you zoom in into the corners, you actually can just make a little rectangle. Now, do not worry if you mess up right away, because this is adjustable. So there we go. I got that corner, and I will drag down to this bottom corner. Done. Now I can hit enter, and that's my thumbnail right now. Say I just wanted to add one more image. I want to do this in the layer under my text. Say I want to make like a diamond sword going through my text. Now what I'm first going to do is I'm going to just get rid of the currently my white background layer thing here that I did. I'm going to get rid of that because I want the diamond sword to match with it. So I'm going to get rid of this, which hopefully doesn't take years. Hopefully I can get this erased. There we go, that's good enough. So now I'm going to go get an image of my diamond sword. Now you can copy and paste, which really helps. So I'm going to paste in my image, Control V. Actually, I didn't even select the image. Let me try again. So I found this image, copy, in my new layer, paste. Keep canvas size. You do not want to change the size of this, otherwise it will not fit the proper thumbnail shape. So say that I want to put this going through the image, sort of like that, except maybe a little bit smaller. There we go, that looks just fine. So now I can combine these two layers, and I can outline them both at the same time when I outline them now. See, now it looks connected to this. Now, if you want to see a more detailed tutorial on this, be sure to click on the video in the cards right now, and I'll do a more detailed tutorial on it where I'll do another thumbnail from scratch. But one more thing before you save your image, be sure to hit merge layer down before you save your image as a PNG. Okay, now you cannot save it as a PNG if you have your multiple layers. It'll ask you to flatten it, but I just prefer to do it quickly. So yeah, that's all that you need to learn about today. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit the like button down below and tell your friends about this video. Be sure to comment down below what tutorials you want to see me do next. Be sure to watch my other video on how to do thumbnails, even more detailed. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!